Limiting reagent practice problems. This is going to be much like the worksheet that you were just doing, except it won't ask the questions in the same order. So for the first one, for example, it asks what's the limiting reagent and what's the reactant in excess. So you're given the two amounts. You need to do the two stoichiometry problems. It gives you the amount of Fe and the amount of S, so you'll solve for how much FeS could be formed. Now notice here it just asks you what's the mass of FeS formed. So you'll already have figured that out in your two stoichiometry problems. Don't forget that it's always the smaller amount of the two stoichiometry problems of the product that will actually be formed. So when you get your two amounts, the smallest one is how much will be formed, and that will also tell you which one was the limiting reagent. So down here, same sort of thing. It's going to be asking what mass would form. It's always the smaller mass. And then it asks you which is the limiting reagent and which is the reagent in excess. So it's going to ask you which of these was the limiting and which was in excess. The reagent is always the reactant, which will be on the left-hand side of your arrow. Now on the next pages, it's the same sort of thing again. So here, you're given two different amounts of the different reactants, but what you need to pay attention to here is that this one is giving you the oxygen in liters since it's a gas. So don't forget that from our last packet that we did, told us that 22.4 liters of a gas is 1 mole of that gas at standard temperature and pressure. So you'll do your two stoichiometry problems, but pay attention to the use of liters here. Then number 4, balance the equation, and then use it to answer the questions here. So it gives you the amounts that are going to react, and you'll have to figure out down here, you can put your two stoichiometry problems to figure out how many grams of ZnCl2 will be formed, and then notice liters, how many liters of H2 will be formed. Okay, so down here, again, just how many grams of Cl2 could be produced, do your two stoichiometry problems to solve. And it goes on to the next page. Balance, and then figure out how much could be formed. And down here again, balance the equation, figure out limiting reagent and reactant in excess, and then tell how many grams could be formed. Again, you're going to be doing the two stoichiometry problems to figure that out. So even though there are two different products here that you could use to solve your stoichiometry problems, what I would do, since this one asks you how much Fe3PO42 could be produced, I would use that in your two stoichiometry problems to determine the limiting reagent, and that way you'll already have figured out the answer to part C of number 7. So as you go through this, remember, just use your stoichiometry the way we've been doing for the last couple of packets, but if you do still have any questions, please come ask.